Are we living in a dream world, or is this our worst nightmare? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, Easter Sunday, April 17th, and happy Easter and happy Passover to everybody. And well, here we are in a market after a short holiday week. We had a little bit of down action, and we'll talk more about that in our market update. But I asked the question: Are we living in a dream world or a nightmare? And you know, I think a hell of a lot more cases can be made for this is a nightmare. This is possibly our worst nightmare as we continue to give up control. We can continue to give up the power of the United States. We continue to give up the power of our currency, as many nations around the world are not even using the dollar anymore. It's a scary time. But, you know, again, when you have a president and an administration that is basically arming inflation, okay, that's a problem. Now, you can say it's not a problem. You can say that old Bubba's full of crap, but the way I look at it is, you know, between the sanctions on Russia, which are worthless until we pump oil and bring the price way down, and between what is going on in this country, prices are skyrocketing everywhere. Between the money you put in your gas tank to the money you spend at the grocery store. And the good news is it's only going to get worse. Okay, prices are only going higher. Okay, we are going to see dramatically higher prices, and of course, you can believe, and if you choose to, as Biden claims, that it's because of Russia. But let's look at some facts before we so quickly run to blame the Russia, war. Again, listen, it's a tragic, worthless, waste of time war, which I did say on TV. But when you have the opportunity to combat that war financially, which we do, and by pumping more oil, by going back to fracking and shale producing and creating natural gas, and then liquefying it and sending it across the globe, we could obviously be back to the world power. But when your leader, when your president continues to blame an event that happened 8 months, 9 months after he was elected, okay, how can it be Russia that is causing inflation? I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you support. But the logic behind this statement is just stupid, because crude oil has been well over $90 a barrel before the Russia-Ukraine conflict even took place. So you're going to tell me that because of the war there, we have higher oil prices? We had higher oil prices were coming the minute that we decided to quit fracking and shale. Okay, higher oil prices became immediate when we got involved in this climate change, green energy New Deal, which is horseshit. Okay, which is 40 years away, no matter how you slice it. And again, we have to worry about today. We have to fight today's battles. Okay, and today's battles are certainly Russia and taking away their power and regaining the power of the United States. But you want to go ahead and believe that BS that you read or that you hear or that you want to believe? Hey, that's your decision. That is your life. But I'm telling you that there's no need for the prices we're paying. And of course, you then have probably, again, when I say dumb, the Federal Reserve employees or governors, listen, they're very smart people. They got to where they got because they're highly educated. They follow these math models. Now, just because they're antiquated and older than the moon and have not at all kept up with what the economy does. But when they start getting involved, and when Janet Yellen comes out and says that Russia and China are creating a bipolar environment. Okay, a bipolar financial environment. Okay, I have to say she's full of crap as usual, because again, think of it this way. Okay, if you look at the three main players, the United States is playing checkers. Okay, Russia is playing good chess, about 3 moves ahead, and China is playing chess at about 11 or 12 moves ahead because they've got a 100-year plan, and everything is falling their way. And unfortunately, it is falling their way for no reason. Okay, we decided, our leadership decided to give up all power, to basically give up everything. Okay, for what? Okay, you've got between the administration, the athletes, and the actors, you're kissing China's ass. Okay, why? Okay, for a few extra dollars, it's not enough that you get a contract for $170 million. You need 172. You know, the tragedy here is the devastation being done to the United States of America right now might be unfixable. Now, I'm hopeful and always believe that we can get out of it, and I'm hoping we can. But we're certainly not headed in the right direction. And when you have idiots like Janet Yellen speaking up, or the jackass from Minneapolis, Neil Kashkari, who has become woke and has decided to forego about inflation and is more concerned about politics. Now, I have to ask you have to ask yourself, okay, at what cost do we want to continue to watch the destruction of our middle class, of our citizens, and of the United States of America, when our problems are easily solved? Okay, they're easily taken care of by one simple thing. The Federal Reserve will not hike rates. Okay, they are so far behind the curve, the inflation story. I mean, let's face it. Okay, May 13th, 2013, or May 10th, I forget the exact date, but 2013, May, the Fed decided to start with their program and started raising rates. The markets had a conniption fit, and Ben Bernanke backed down, as is famously known as the taper tantrum. Okay, why did he back down? Okay, because he let the markets dictate. I thought that in this country, the free market was supposed to dictate. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, in the meantime, because of all these wonderful things going on, inflation has eaten about 100% of everybody's paycheck since 1973. Okay, which means you're churning in quicksand. You've gained no ground. Okay. Consumer spending, we just had a CPI number, okay, which was 8.5%, which is a total bunch of hogwash because inflation is much higher than 8.5%. I would say it's closer to 21, 22, 23. So you have a position with hyperinflation, no jobs. Actually, we have plenty of jobs. Nobody wants to work, which is, again, leading us to that nasty potential of stagflation. In the meantime, mortgage rates are skyrocketing. Okay, they're well over 5% now. The yield curve is inverting. And please understand and learn one thing. The Fed funds rate, which is what they talk about when they're hiking rates or not hiking rates, is strictly for the banks, okay, from the Fed to the banks and their lending rate. Okay. When it comes to you and me for a mortgage, we're benchmarked off the 10-year notes. Okay. And the 10-year notes are getting closer to 3% right now. But it's interesting enough, the 2-year notes are trading over the 10s, which creates the inversion of the yield curve, which is a very negative sign. Short-term money should never be more expensive than borrowing for the long term. Okay. But you get consumers are buying gas, not much shopping anymore. Okay. And of course, then we come to the issue in food. Okay. Now, if we look at Russia, which controls or produces Russia and Ukraine, 30% of the world's wheat crop. Okay, now, as we look at the entire grain industry, Brazil just had a rotten year and didn't have much production. Australia's having a tough year, not much production, and they're in the opposite cycle. The United States have just finished planting, okay, or on the process of just finishing planting. So we really need Mother Nature to play a key role or a good role here, and it doesn't look so good so far. Okay, it looks like it could be a long period, and we may be short. And I will tell you, just based on the current statistics and based on what's available, okay, there is going to be a food shortage. Now, not necessarily in the United States, because we'll pay for it, but we will be paying, if you're paying $3 for a loaf of bread now, you'll be paying $6 or $7 next year. Okay, now that's money that comes right off your bottom line. That is after-tax dollars that you're going to be spending on groceries. Okay, and that's if you can get it. But the poorer nations in the world, or the less fruited nations like Egypt and the Middle East, there's going to be wars there and riots there because there's not going to be enough food. Okay, and this is something that we continue to ignore as well. I mean, it's put into play now. Okay, the fertilizer problem and the supply chain issue. Okay, there is delays of getting the fertilizer to the farmers. Okay, so not only do we have extremely high costs, okay, but we have a position right now that we can't even get to them at any cost. So you have to ask yourself, what are we going to do? Now, again, we will be, in the United States, we will be the last to have major suffering because, of course, it takes money, right? So if you still have money, you're going to feed your family, okay? But what about those who don't? What about those who don't have the money? What about the areas that are not self-sufficient? And so this all ties, excuse me, this all ties into the same problem, okay? Realize that if we wanted to really sanction Russia, if we really wanted to, all I have to do is make oil back at $35 a barrel. And how do they do that? They just have to pump a lot more oil and become a creator. But not only would that put Russia under pressure and cut their profit margins, but it would also bring our inflation back down, which would then ease the Federal Reserve and allow them to do what they're supposed to do anyways, regardless of what's going on. They should be raising rates. But again, unfortunately, we have to deal with imbeciles that are more political than they should because they're supposed to be a private corporation and apolitical, and they're not. Okay. And of course, it would be lovely to see them get audited, but we don't. There's a lot of reasons, and, Ron Paul and Rand Paul have both been big advocates of ending the Fed, or at least auditing the Fed, for these very reasons. Because where does the money go? The fraudulent fiat currency system is only a way to give us taxation without representation. It is a way to fleece the Americans out of their cash through cheaper dollars. So you have to ask yourself, okay, the raise you got, how far is that going to get you any better? And the answer is no. You're lucky if you can keep up with the cost of inflation, let alone be able to save a little bit from there. So the problems are mounting, and of course, with housing affordability dropping dramatically, okay, because again, we're in this place where the interest rate markets are starting to play out. Very much as we talked about for months about the bond vigilantes, and I don't think it's over yet. I think you're going to see a 10-year somewhere near 4% before it's all sudden, if not higher. And I think we're going to see we've got the unfortunate real possibility of stagflation and other issues going along. And thank you, President Biden, for your support and helping the American middle class by sticking it up our ass. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. This is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, April the 17th, Easter Sunday. A happy Easter and happy Passover to all. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be right back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line after the break. Well, kids, as you know, we have a number of sponsors. You can see them either scrolling on the bottom or scrolling on the side. But check them out when you get a chance. Look, we've got some brokerage partners. Now, I've got many brokers, but we've got some great brokerage partners. And, of course, Capital Trading Group, which is our preferred for commodities and futures. They're the only ones that have been authorized for letter of direction trading. They're the only ones that have great products on their own, that we have a partnership with on a product. And they got the best customer service. They take care of the members, which is all I care about. Take care of my members. That's what I want. Check them out. info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, in equity side, who could be better than Tradier? Okay. They have great service as well. They're going to have cryptocurrency soon. They're $10 a month. We've got their APIs, which allows us to automate our portfolios. And there's no charge for trade execution. It's still the same $10 a month. If you're a member of the equity side, you've already paid for your licensing fee. And if you're in the hedging side, you have to pay for a licensing fee. But again, it'll be far less expensive and automated than you would be paying anywhere else. So check out Tradier, try.tradier.com/Bubba. That's try.tradier.com/Bubba. And of course, Strategic Wealth Preservation. If you're a metals fan, that's where I do all my shopping. Okay, platinum, gold, silver, and I'm a big buyer of platinum. I don't know if I'm making a mistake, but it seems to be on sale. But check them out, swpcayman.com/Bubba-trading. That's swpcayman.com/Bubba-trading. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba-trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba-trading. And again, check out the sides or the bottom. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 17th of April, Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, happy Passover. And, of course, markets look pretty nasty. They look pretty ugly. Okay. Now, again, look, we don't make predictions. In fact, net, we're kind of long, or kind of mixed, I guess we'll say. But, in our equity portfolios, we're pretty short, and in our futures, we're still kind of flattish on the way to a reversal. But the markets look very slow. Okay, the volume has been very bad, and it appears to me that when you look at this is like watching a great boxer carry a crabby boxer, a contender, to make the fight look better for a little bit longer before they crack it. And I think that's what you're seeing here. I think the lack of volume indicates retail. And as we saw towards the end of last week, the selling, came hard and fast, and then it has to slow. I think because I don't think the commercials or institutions want to push it down too fast. They don't want to create a panic. They want to create an extended downtrend, which is I think we can expect. Okay. In the meantime, for the week. The Dow remains the strongest, which is negative. That's not a bullish sign; it's a bearish sign. But the Dow remains the strongest. It was down for the week, but it was much stronger than the other indices. But we're still long. The S&P got cracked a little bit, and we are still long. I think very close to changing because the spiders just changed, but we'll see. The Qs got cracked, and we're short. And the Russell was basically flat on the week, and we are short that as well. But again, I think they're in for some real trouble. And of course, in the metals, gold and silver finally broke above some resistance and, got us long. Now, when I look at it, we're at some key levels here. Okay. They had a nice up week, but there's also still a little bit of overhead resistance. Now they can really take off or they can fail. Okay. It's not as clean as I would like it to be. But again, it has been steady, so we'll hopefully see a run. And trust yourself and trust me that the best move you can get when you're swing trading is not a straight up or a straight down, but is steady and continue to get a trend built. Okay. In the meantime, platinum we don't trade anymore. It's still under 1,000, so it's still ugly. Okay. Crude oil had a monster week and is back well over 100 again, 106. and headed much, much higher. Again, this goes back to what we talked about in the opening, but we're still long. Okay, natural gas. You want to talk about scary. Now, natural gas is scary under any circumstances, but natural gas at 7.40 in March or in April is a joke. Okay, I don't know when we've ever seen that. Now, we're still long. We've been long all the way. All right, but it's stupid. There's no reason for it to be at these prices. And of course, if you go to the UK or Germany, they're paying 5 times it. Okay, copper flat week, and we're still short. Okay. Bonds and notes getting clobbered, which makes sense because when they go down, interest rates go higher. Okay. And I think probably, I wouldn't be surprised to see this week the 10-year and the 30-year both click over 3%. Okay. The dollar is over at par, which is what I said. We're long dollars. Okay. Over par. Euro currency is on its way to 88 cents. It's $1.08 right now. We're still short. Okay. We're long dollars. The Bitcoin, it had a little bit of a rough week, but I think there's a lot of good news floating around Bitcoin. I think the rally might even, again, remember there's an old story, buy the rumor, sell the news. I think that's probably more of what you saw. And I think, listen, I'm a believer, and between options and the micros now and more ETFs, I think they have a chance to go a lot higher. But we are at this moment short. Again, just full disclosure. Okay. In the grain markets, we're long across the board. Now, corn continues to be really strong. Soybeans are still in a nice tight range, which is just waiting to explode to the upside. And wheat's been wild, but it now has reversed, and we've now become long. And of course, in the protein complex, we're short across the board. Okay. Now, again, do I like to be short? Well, again, these prices, I'm not so concerned. Okay. Hogs at 118, pretty high. Okay. And they say high prices cure high prices. But again, a lot of this is going to have to do with oil, with crude, and the price you pay at the pump. But right now, we're still short them across the board. And in the softs, cotton continues to explode, which is no surprise. Commodities continue to go higher. We're still long. Coffee had a flat to down week. We're long. Cocoa had a flat to down week, and we're short. Sugar had, a flat week, and we are long, but it's way up near the highs. And OJ went to Pluto. Okay, it's parabolically going higher, which can't be sustained. I said the other day on one of the updates, it's got to sell off at some point here. Now, again, doesn't mean it's going to get negative and go way down, but there has to be some sideways movement or some action that indicates, okay, that there's a little bit of resolution on the parabolic move to the upside or downside. Markets don't go straight up or straight down. There's always got to be some mean reversion, as it said. But overall, the big picture is we look very, very ugly. And I would think we're headed into an extended bear market. The actual slow action, which has been bringing us down. Now, you may look at it as being fast, but it's been very slow because, again, you look at percentage gains or losses. It's been a very slow grind down, which could extend into a much longer bear market. But again, we don't really care bull or bear. What we care is that we don't want it to go up or down too fast. We want it to continue to trend and build momentum on its own. But there's a lot of issues to worry about in these markets. But again, we don't make predictions. But the economy is in trouble. The inflation is too high. We've got too many excuses by our administration. So there's a lot of issues that could create a lot of problems. Just be careful, but do not predict the markets. Just be prepared to act to them. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, April the 17th. Happy Easter, happy Passover. We're going to stop out here for our final break and come back with, of course, my commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Okay, kids, again, I'm not going to go through all the sponsors right now, but again, if you just look on the side, you've got Capital Trading Group. Okay, greatest for futures and commodities. You've got Tradier, crypto soon, equity $10 a month, and of course, Strategic Wealth Preservation, metals if you're looking to buy. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. It's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary for the week. So let's get back to it right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, every week I got a few bugs up my you-know-what. And, there's nothing that pisses me off more than when I hear the regulatory bodies talking about how they're going to defend the clients, against, right now the new topic is protecting them against frauds and scams in the investment world, which there's always going to be. Remember one thing, anytime there's money, there's going to be fraud. However, if the SEC and FINRA did their jobs, there'd be a lot less. But because they're more interested in protecting the broker than they are the customer or the client, they're never going to stop it. Okay. I still say that Bernie Madoff had an insider. Okay. I still say some of this ridiculous advertising you see is a product of the exact scam in this system. The $5,000 FINRA day trading rule is not for you. It is for the broker. Okay. So when I hear these regulatory bodies talking, it makes me want to sew my pants up and make sure I protect all my cash because they're reaching in somewhere for something. Okay. I think that, again, if they truly did their job and if people did their jobs, anytime you make an investment in anything, okay, A, you must know your risk, and B, you must do your own due diligence to make sure it's not a scam. Now, there is an old saying, right? If it looks too good to be true and if it smells too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So don't get yourself trapped into one of these phony scams when you have all the tools right in front of you, because the regulatory bodies are not going to protect you. They're always way behind the times. By the time they figure it out, you'll have lost your money. Okay. And you'll get part of a class action. You'll get 10 cents back on the dollar if you're lucky. Do your own due diligence and don't depend on regulatory bodies because they do not have your best interest at heart. They have the money at heart, which goes back to the brokers. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a terrific Easter, happy Passover. And as always, I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. In the meantime, enjoy the weekend, everybody. Thank you so much, and give all your family members a hug and a kiss because they're all you got. Take care of it. We'll see you later.